keep it simple. Keep it simple. I have been sending podcast invites out to guest speak on shows, and they were very complex emails. Lots of information in that email. And I've been talking to Ron Story Jr., and he showed me the email that's working best for him right now. And it is so simple. It's the simplest email you have ever seen. And I'm going to share that with you and just talk a little bit about that and some exciting developments and that are coming to the influence army. But keep it simple. That's the theme of today's episode.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Mischa Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
Oh my gosh, there is, if you Google, how to guest speak on podcasts, right? There's so much great information out there. So much great information out there. But there's a lot of poor information too. And, some of the information, if as we want to guest speak on podcasts, until we get so popular that people are reaching out to us to speak on their shows, and then we need an agent to handle that, right? To filter out the riffraff, and we've got our agent cherry picking the best ones for us. Until we get to that point, we've got to send out invites and ask people if they would like us to speak on their shows. It's very interesting too. I've been thinking in this whole mix of thoughts, and bear with me per usual as I ping around from thought to thought. But I think of Amy Porterfield, who just launched a book, and she went out on a podcast tour, and she hired an agency, like a PR firm, to get her booked on some shows. There's no doubt, right? And I'm also fairly confident that she reached out to her sphere of influence as well, saying, hey, I want to speak on your podcast, as well as, who do you know who has a podcast that I can speak on? So I'd encourage everyone who wants to speak on a podcast and start getting their word out there, just do that first. Simply list out your sphere of influence, go to them and say, hey, who do you know who has a podcast that I can speak on? Maybe some of your sphere of influence has a podcast that you can speak on. And I'm right in the middle of putting that list together myself so I can do it again, as well as, get your Facebook post in line, do a couple Facebook posts, or if you're on Instagram, whatever channel you're on, even if you're not active on that channel, go ahead and throw a post or two out there, and you'll get some bites. I did that myself, back in March of 2023, and it's actually what started the whole influence army, this whole membership that I'm building with you all, my amazing community. I did a post that was like, hey, I want to go guest speak on podcasts. Who wants to jump in the fray with me? And I got all this crazy engagement. I know somebody with podcasts. I know somebody with a podcast. And I spoke on 6 shows super quick, right? So do not discount your sphere of influence And if you strategically go to your sphere of influence, then you'll get some shows ASAP. I like to call it a soft launch. You can actually go to, you can join my membership and I'll show you how to do it. Anyway, then the next level, right, is you get to market yourself. You get to start sending out invites, requesting to speak on shows, finding the shows that you want to speak on, and then start sending invites. And hopefully, if you and I are consistent with that, we get to the point where, like we're the Rock, and people are coming to us, and we say, talk to our agent, talk to our press manager, talk to whomever, right? We've got somebody, again, that filters through that noise and cherry picks the shows that they'll speak on. I could go on a further riff on that, just to say, still invite people like The Rock on. You never know when they're inspired to speak on your show, or ask to speak on his. You never know. Anyhow, so yeah, if you search online and you find people's pitches, templates on how to guest speak on podcasts, they're usually very complex, right? And it usually starts with, I love your show, here's the episode that I listened to, and this is what I loved about it, right? And so already you're at a paragraph, even if you try to keep that short. And even if you take the time to listen to that show and authentically do that, it starts to get long and arduous, right? And not only for you, the podcaster, but also for the potential interviewer, the person that has this show, right? And then, the next thing is how we add value, right? So this is what I want to talk about on your show, and and this is how I'm going to promote your show, if you have a budget to promote the episode, and see the attachment that shows the show flow, and then some sort of version of that. There's a great version that I came across from this lady who's super successful, and she's got a massive audience, and so she leads with, hey, this is my name, I have an Instagram account with X million followers, she says how great she is, which is amazing, and then she says, hey, I'd love to be on your show. Now, I suppose if you're The Rock, or you're this lady, or you're Amy Porterfield, and you've got that sort of clout, amen, right? Most of us are not at that level yet. And maybe God will have me at that level one day. But in the meantime, I've got some work to do. So anyway, back to it. There's all sorts of podcast pitch templates out there. I recommend, I definitely have been sending out pitches to varying degrees of success. By far the most successful strategy that I have consistently is sphere of influence, right? And the more you build that sphere of influence, the more opportunities you get. So, as you do the work, no matter how hard it is, and you do start speaking on podcasts or stages or whatever it is, or building partnerships, those partnerships will beget more partnerships, or those speaking opportunities will lead to more speaking opportunities. Those relationships will lead to more relationships. I think you get what I'm saying there. Beget is kind of like saying lead to. But anyway, I had been using one, actually in a template that Johnny Lee Dumas recommended, and it had been working okay. But then, I was talking to my buddy Ron Story Jr., and he goes, "Hey, Mish, here is the template that works the best for me." And it's so short and so simple. It basically says, "Hey, host," or "Hey, contact name. Found your show. Love it." Or some version of that, however you want to say that. Found your show. It's awesome. Found your show. It's intriguing. Whatever the truth of the matter is about what you think of that show, in 5 words, say it. The next is, are you taking guests? Question mark. And then the next line is, if so, what are the next steps? Question mark. And then the third is the thank you, or the fourth is the thank you. I might be missing a sentence, but it's basically 4 sentences. Super easy. You're not selling yourself. You're not overselling how great they are. You're just getting to the point. And he says that's it. That engages the conversation. And if they happen to respond and say no, then you do offer number 2. Well, I'd love to have you as a guest on my show. Are you interested? Or, oh, I'd love to run an ad on your show. Are you interested? Right? Or sponsor an episode or something like that. Because obviously if you want to speak on that show, realistically, you would want to run an ad perhaps, right? So, and he says, yep, that's what I do, and that works the best. And most of the people that he helps speak on podcasts, he said so many people fight it. And they want to get in these long, complex invites. And he said that he'll do it. He said that he will say, fine, do it. But there you go. That's what works the best. That is what works the best. Of course, you still got to find the podcast. You got to get the contact email for the podcast. And I actually have all the tools to do that for you. And what was the other thing? Oh, subject line. Podcast guests. There you go. Subject line. When he told me that and he showed me his little template, I was like, please let there be the subject line in that template. Because so often the body's so great, but what's the subject line that gets you to gets the person to open the email? Anyway, I am having so much fun right now. So many great conversations. What can I say? I think that's good enough. Go. Let's get you on some podcasts. You can go to guestingguide.com, jump on my list, and then we'll get you in the Influence Army, and I will give you everything you need, show you everything you need to be guest speaking on podcasts. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.